Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. We're welcoming back Kimberly Carney onto the show, who I am proud to announce is finally a published author in our best-selling Business Leaders book series. We've been working on this book for a long time, and I'm thrilled to get it out there and to promote it with Kimberly. And I got another big announcement we'll get to, which is I have to start with this. This is a big deal. So, Fashion Group International's Entrepreneur of the Year. I realized that you just received that award recently, Kimberly. Hey, first, welcome back, but I had to get that out first. Welcome
I did
back.
last week. It was such an honor to not only be part of their event, but to be recognized for my path as an entrepreneur.
Oh, your path as an entrepreneur and you are on fire. We're going to talk about today the wires and really what you've done to grow and scale. And I know three different brands under there, 3 apps in the App Store. We're gonna break these down, but I know you're known as, but the company's overall known as the Wires. So excited to get into that. Of course, we're going to talk about the book, and really the journey of a startup to CEO was the title of what you wrote. But before we get into all that, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with our Mission Matters Minute. So you know the drill. We at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Kimberly, what mission matters to you?
Mission to make an impact across our respective industries. It's very important to me that we're continuing to innovate and make an impact.
Yeah. It's great having you on, and love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs on the line to share, why they do what they do and how they do it, and really what we can all learn from that. So first off, I just have to circle back to this Entrepreneur of the Year award. So how do you feel? I mean, tell me a little bit more about the night.
What's crazy is back when I first opened a store, I went to my first Fashion Group International event in New York, and it was a big deal to even get invited because there were celebrities there. And I remember watching the award ceremony thinking, gosh, I wonder what it would be like to be a rising star. And then in 2020, when we were just Fashwire won the Rising Star Award for New Retail Concept. And it was really exciting to be part of that. And then we continued to grow our business to beauty, and then followed that with home and decor with Casawire. And Fashion Group International has always been a great partner for us. We support their events. I've been on their podcasts. It's just really exciting. And a new surprise is they asked me to join their board of directors. So I'm officially on the board of Fashion Group International.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. What an amazing story. And I've known you for a bit now, and I know you work hard as a founder and as a CEO. So you deserve it. Like, it's great. And I'm excited to see and continue to watch your journey and success. But I don't want to assume, so the show's grown quite a bit, and I don't want to assume all of our new listeners maybe caught some of our previous work today, Kimberly. So maybe just give an overview and kind of a breakdown of the Wires.
The Wires platforms they're all 3 two-sided marketplace. So we are B2B, a data hub for the brands to help them see what's resonating with consumers, to help them make better production decisions and sell for full price. And really, we want to reduce waste and help these brands sell their products just by getting discovered on our platform. On our B2C side, we're consumer driven, where we have this immersive swipe voting, where swipe left if you like it, swipe right if you don't, very Tinder-esque. And we give that data back to the brands. So it's exciting for consumers because they get to come in and they get to be an influencer, and they get to have a say in what's resonating with them. And we build that incredible community.
Yeah. And one of the things that you have really built is a community. And maybe just to go a little bit further, I do want to spend some time on the book to build out this story. The title again of what you wrote was Journey of a Startup CEO. So you talk about starting the Wires. You talk about maybe some of your background as well in the music tech industry. Maybe give us a little bit more about your background and how you got interested in entrepreneurship.
After college, I took a job at AT&T Wireless,
Mm,
and back in the day, they were focused on the technology TDMA for the cell phone. So
mm,
I was part of their marketing team, and I traveled the world actually building conferences and events.
mm.
And my keynote speakers were people like Nelson Mandela and
Wow.
different industry leaders around the world. And it was a great career for me to really understand marketing, events,
Mm,
conferences, and really get an idea of really where I wanted to be. And the technology was what
mm,
really fascinated me the most. After I was really ready to stop traveling so much, I found
mhm,
a job in the music industry called Discover Music. And I
mm,
became their head of marketing. And we were, back in the day, we were the technology on Amazon where you could actually play the song sample. And
mm.
it was really great. And I remember going to my CEO and saying, "So what's my marketing budget? You come from AT&T where you've got a big marketing budget, and you go to a startup and you're lucky if you can cash your paycheck, the following week." And he's like, "Zero." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can be creative." So I actually, Billboard was really big at the time. And so I was able to get us on Billboard, and I worked
Yeah.
with the Amazon account back when Amazon was still small.
Mhm,
And really, it was a great, career for me in the music tech
mhm.
industry. I still think we would have been iTunes had we not got sued by the labels,
Yeah.
but we ended up selling to a company in Seattle. And then I went on to
Mm,
have two kids.
mhm,
And after my second, I really wanted to get back into marketing and
mhm.
started my own marketing company, and a boutique hired me. And I
Yeah.
got to go on a buying trip with her. And I remember walking into the showroom, and I get butterflies to this day when I walk
Yeah.
into a showroom. So I opened a store because I thought,
Mhm.
how hard can it be? And I learned that retail is not easy. So, but 15 years later, I had a very successful store. But during that
Mhm,
time, I really saw the problem where smaller brands wanted to be in my store, and I would spend
mm,
a couple $1,000s to have them in, and they wouldn't sell as well next to like
mm,
Theory and Diane von Furstenberg and all these main brands.
mhm.
And I felt bad for them, and I started listening to their stories about how much they had to pay to exhibit, how much it cost to be in bigger retailers.
Yeah.
And I thought there's got to be a platform where everybody can sit together that's low cost
Mm,
and a solution to really help the consumer,
mhm,
find the brand and really give that brand exposure to the consumer.
mm.
And that is where I came up with Fashwire. So,
Wow.
and we launched in 2000. The idea started around 2015, but
Mhm,
you go through some startup pains. And
mhm,
I found my developer in 2017, and he's still our development partner today and a shareholder in the company. And we launched in 2018 with Fashwire. We had about
wow.
25 brands, and the bigger affiliates told me I'd never get brands. So we took
Mhm,
a team, went to the shows. I hired someone from the industry, and
mm,
we are now over 450 brands from about 45 countries
wow.
and maybe even 50 countries now.
Mm,
So it was great. And when we were about 200 when the pandemic hit, and the pandemic
mm,
really proved our concept when retail shut down. So many brands that had said no to us reached back out, and they
mm,
wanted to be on the platform. So during that year of 2020, not only did we have incredible press, but we grew our
mhm,
brand base, I think, to about 300 that year. And
mm.
then my team came to me and said we should do beauty, and I was like, "Yeah, no, the investors don't want you to do another vertical. I
Yeah.
don't think it'll work. I don't
Like,
know."
fashion's not hard enough, right?
Exactly. And I know tech, I know fashion. I don't like change. And
Yeah.
they convinced me. We got our developer involved, and he
Mhm,
agreed we should do it. And we launched Glosswire in 2021 with about 50
mhm,
brands that we built behind the scenes based
mm,
on the traction of Fashwire. And now we're over 300 brands on Glosswire,
mm,
from probably about 26, 27 countries.
mhm,
And then CasaWire was actually an idea before the pandemic, but when the pandemic hit, we decided to hold off.
mhm,
Again, the team thought we should do home decor. So we were lucky enough to get Amanda Smith from Selling Sunset to join our advisory board
mhm,
to advise us. And that was really incredible because we were really able to build out home and decor in a way that's a little bit different than beauty and fashion. In fact, we have
Mm-hmm.
some really exciting things we're going to launch with our AI for like shop the room.
Mm.
And but we launched Casa Wire in December 2022, and we're about 100 brands right now. And
Yeah.
it's we're building it, slowly but surely. And it's been great though. It launched at number 2 in the App Store, and
Mm.
and now we're continuing to grow it. So that's really the story of the wires.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pick up a couple pieces of this apart. And definitely some of the things of what you attribute to some of the success that you've had with these brands. But before we get into this piece, I want to go back to the early days a little bit. And this is a question I like to ask to founders who are really getting traction in their brand, to kind of take a step back for a moment, because there's some people that'll watch this that are maybe younger, or I should say earlier in their entrepreneurial career. If you could go back and tell that, let's just say that Kimberly that was just getting started in the fashion niche, and starting with that retail store, if you could give her some advice on maybe what's on the road ahead, what kind of things would you tell her?
You can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
Number one, you can't do it yourself. It's
Yeah.
okay to make mistakes. It's okay to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really important to surround yourself with industry leaders who are experts in their fields, who know more than you do. We, as individuals, we don't know everything. I know where I excel, I know what I'm great at, and I know where I don't. And I think really bringing that's the best thing I ever did, was bring in an amazing group and advisory board in the early days that continues to change and grow through today,
Mm-hmm.
and reaching out when I need help. Because it's okay to ask for help. 9 times out of 10, people want to help. They want you to succeed. And if you don't do it, then you still get a no anyway. So really just really be, let your team and let your advisors and even your investors, let them be a part of the community,
Mm-hmm.
because transparency is important, as well as getting that expert advice that you cannot come up with on your own always.
Yeah. And so one of the things that you've great advice, by the way, and one of the things that you talk about as you tell your stories, you're like, yeah, I didn't want to necessarily do that, but yeah, we did it, right? Our team, like when it comes to launching the second brand, then the third brand, as a founder, like how do you kind of know when it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily like change or want to do that new thing, but yeah, we're gonna do that. Like, how do you know?
Have you met my team?
Amazing. Yes, yes, actually, I have met some of them. I was at the
They
Casa
don't take
Wire
no for an
event, and
answer. They
they
don't
are amazing.
Yeah, they don't take no for an answer very well. I really just weigh
Mhm.
the pros and the cons, and I
Yeah.
seek that advice. I did reach out to a couple investors and
Mhm.
got their opinion. My technology partner, Human Hamza, who is
Mm.
really my lifeline in this company, really getting his input's important,
Mm.
because, their team's the one that has to carry this through with us.
Mhm.
And then my incredible team,
Yeah.
they're just as passionate about this company as I am. And I
Mm.
don't know that you always get that in a company.
Yeah.
And I really just think that just trusting your
Mhm.
instinct, trusting their instinct, and just the community you've built. And when
Mm.
enough people believe in it, then even if I'm not 100% sure,
Mhm.
that, it will work, um,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to take chances. I'm a
Mhm.
risk taker by nature. So let's go. Let's do this. That's our theme in the company. Let's go.
Oh, that's awesome. So, you actually, is another thing you mentioned, is you actually had growth in the pandemic. So, maybe some of those brands that weren't, as readily available to be on the platform, things like that, they, are now turning and looking for a solution. You're there, you had a great brand, a great product. So then they were on board. Now, right now, just for context for everybody that's listening or into the future, or watching this in the future, we're recording this in May of 2023. Where we're live, there's going to be some more changes going on in the economy and otherwise. And, some people are going to maybe ease up and, lift their foot off that gas pedal a little. Some are going to maybe accelerate, some will stay even. What kind of things would you say as we're going into the next, let's just say, phase of the economy, or what the next thing's going to be after the pandemic? And I say the next thing, by the way, because there's always something, always something. But what's the next thing for you? Like, how would you navigate that?
I think I've been smart in keeping us a small team.
Yeah.
And I think that has been important for not only bottom line, but this is a mighty team.
Yeah.
And to navigate it with them, it doesn't feel like I have to navigate anything.
Yeah.
We can do this as a team. We can navigate through any economy. And like I said, we have an incredible team of advisors. We have incredible investors that believe in us and this company 1,000%. So knowing that, I feel like we can navigate through anything.
Yeah, it's great.
But it doesn't say that you can't predict. And what we're seeing in this economy now, and to your point, is we're seeing layoffs in the bigger tech companies. We're seeing companies close. We're seeing banks collapse, and we can't predict that. So my attitude is tomorrow's a new day. We push forward.
Yeah. And what about, like, so we've been talking a lot about obviously the business side of it, but maybe from the brand perspective a bit, because I think you have just an extremely unique vantage point based on the quantity of brands, the quality of brands, the variation of brands, both in all three niches and spaces, by the way. How are you seeing maybe some of them kind of approach this next phase of the economy?
Our brands are fantastic. I'm really seeing a lot of social posts and really seeing through Instagram and Pinterest, and really seeing our brands use those those social tools to facilitate their brands forward. What's so great about social media is you get a broader audience, and it works for us. It works for our brands, and our brands are also getting innovative. They're coming up with new products. Their marketing campaigns are phenomenal. It's really exciting to see what not only our brands are doing, but what the community at large is, from whether it's celebrities to our brands to influencers. It's exciting to watch, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, or Pinterest.
Yeah. And one of the secret sauces, and I'm saying this because at least from my perspective, as I've watched you and observed the wires, is when you use the word community, you mean it. Like, I see it. I see the community around the products, from whether it's the brand side, whether it's obviously the people using the apps, all these things. Like, what is that word, or that, like, how do you approach that community question? How do you approach community building from your perspective?
Community building to me is all about collaboration and partnership. Our brands, we continuously call our brands our brand partners, and we showcase them on our Instagram. We highlight their backgrounds. We highlight the founders in our lives. And we do these fast talks or beauty talks or even Casa talks now, to really show the community who the brands are, what drives them, and give them that visibility they might not have.
Yeah. And now for a for a company like yours, which is a technology company, or ours, which is a media company, sometimes that concept of building a community, like, it wasn't always done, right? So if you're thinking about like your app in an app store, there's not necessarily a community behind it, or that component. So I know there's some other. So I believe you're extremely innovative in what you're doing, and the fact that you're even approaching it from that community mindset. For the maybe other tech entrepreneurs out there who haven't approached like their business or their app or whatever it is, right? From that community like perspective, what kind of things would you tell them, or tips would you give them on just community building if they haven't really gone down that route?
I think one thing that we did we're a paid app, and part of the reason we are a paid app is because we get to donate to philanthropic causes by doing $1 download with our apps. And we highlight a new charity each month. And that builds a whole new community, because, we're speaking about the charity or the, philanthropic organization that supports social causes. And then they're sharing us. And then we're capturing that community that drives that, where their personal values get behind charitable organizations. And I think it's so important to be able to do that. And I'm super proud of that with our community.
How do you look when we're talking about community? I mean, you have different layers because you have obviously the brand partners, right? You have the community that's using the app, of course. Speaking on the for the brand partners, maybe a little bit longer here. How do you look at who's going to, or kind of evaluate or decide who's going to be a good brand partner, really a good fit for the platform?
It's super important to us that they have, a social following, that they've
Mhm.
been in business for a year or two,
Mhm.
that they obviously need to have a commerce program, a commerce site, because we're direct to consumer, and
Mhm.
we lead the consumer to their e-commerce site to purchase
Mhm.
the product. But really, it comes down to, we like to look at luxury brands, niche brands, up and coming founders. It's super important to us to really recognize everyone who has a beauty product that is relevant to the beauty
Mhm.
industry.
Yeah. And so as you continue to add brand partners, as you continue to scale, all three, including CasaWire, what's actually, before I go there, maybe a little bit of an update of CasaWire. This is our first time talking in a long time. Like, how's everything going on that side of things? I know you're rocking and rolling on the other two, but how's CasaWire going?
CasaWire is great. We launched in December as a soft launch. We
Yep.
really needed to get it out there to get community feedback so we could really learn and understand what the home and decor market
Mhm.
wanted. So we really did have to take a step back in February to really evaluate how to push forward.
Mhm.
We've highlighted Decor as the main product that we want on the app,
Mhm.
and we are bringing emerging brands on.
Mhm.
So it's great. But in the behind the scenes right now, we're developing Shop the Room through AI technology through our partner
Yeah.
investments.
Oh, what's that? What can you tell me about that? I love breaking a story here. What can you tell me? I
Um,
won't go too far, but give me a little hint.
just it's very similar to, like, you walk into a store and you
Mhm.
can shop the store. So this will be virtual, and you'll be able to shop the room and shop product directly from the room it's in.
Ah, it's gonna be fun. I
Yeah,
can't wait to see the
I'm super excited, and we have some
next.
exciting stuff with Fashwire and Glasswire coming up too, in the same area with AI and AR.
Oh, do tell, do tell. What can you tell me?
Well, shop the floor for,
Yep.
Fashwire, and then
Mhm.
Glasswire I cannot talk about yet.
Okay. All right. All right.
But
All right. I gotta.
we next podcast.
Okay. I gotta get what I can get from you,
I
Kimberly.
know,
While I have you on the line, it's
I
okay. Oh, well, Kimberly, first off, I am thrilled and excited to continue promoting this book with you. Well, for all the audience, everybody watching, like, we'll have links, of course, in the show notes, all that good stuff, so you can pick up a copy. So definitely want you to do that. But Kimberly, if people are interested in learning more about the platform, I mean, of course, they can download from the App Store, but just in general, how do people get involved with the community and really connect with the wires and the brands?
can download the apps on iOS at the App Store and Google Play. So Fashwire, Glosswire, and CasaWire, and we also have websites as
Mhm.
well. Our social handles are at Fashwire, at Glosswire Beauty, and at CasaWire Home. And we'd love to have you follow us, join us, and download the app.
Fantastic. And we'll put all that information in the show notes. So again, our audience can just click on the links and download the apps. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters or engaging with the platform, we're all about bringing on business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and having them share their mission, the reason behind their mission, why they do what they do, and what really gets them fired up to go out into the marketplace and make a difference. If that's the type of content that sounds interesting or fun or exciting to you, we welcome you. Hit that subscribe button because we have many more mission-based individuals coming up on the line, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Kimberly, really, as always, it's a pleasure working with you. I'm looking forward to the next time we get to do this. But thank you again for coming on the show. And by the way, congrats again on Entrepreneur of the Year. Come on, and joining the board too. I didn't know that piece of it. You're on fire, and I'm so happy to support you and to get the message out.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure, and I really love working with you and your team.